Wicked Reports created the data mining report so that you could periodically come in, like let's say every 2 weeks, and see what insights we've been able to mine for you. And the idea was, let's ask the questions that a periodic user should be asking and see if we can give them the answers and what to do with that data as well. And so this originally was the mission control page, but it's now data mining. So when you want the 10,000 foot view of how your advertising is doing, just go over to Reports Mission Control. But this top part, this summary data, which is using full impact attribution, is something you can certainly look at, but Mission Control has had a lot of advances, so go there for this top section. The first section, you want to know how valuable your leads are over time. Now we have advanced cohort reporting to dive into this further, but just at a quick high-level overview, you can click and see how valuable your leads are over these different time periods. So in this case, new leads are worth 181 30 days after being acquired, and then what you should do with that data. Now, what are your best emails? These are dependent on the UTMs that you set. We're looking at the time period to say, looking at last click, what emails have made the most money? And so when you don't see a value here, that means you have no UTM content tag set. But when you mouse over, you will see that the campaign has been set, in which case the copy of email campaign did really well, and then the family campaign did second, and then the Tuesday campaign did third, in which sorry NYE20 was the content tag. So in this advertiser, I'd say, hey, start adding UTM content to your emails because you'd have even more value in Wicked Reports. However, by clicking on it, you can see the breakdown of the data and what you should do with that data. And you can further toggle by campaigns. You can toggle by clicks versus revenue. So then you see here are all the campaigns. Potential ad targeting to make money. Now, this is an all-time report. It's going to ignore the time frame you've set. So it's kind of like the scoreboard of all your Wicked Reports tracking history. And the idea is, let's look at the all-time best targeting, which means Facebook ad sets, and AdWords, it would mean either keywords, or it could mean display URLs, or it could be your audiences. It could be your affinity audiences, your custom audiences you make with Google Analytics, and then targeting Google. The point is, it's the targeting level. What you can do is mouse over and click over on it, and it will then show your all-time. And here along the x-axis is ROI, and the y-axis is revenue. Now, there's a $100 spend minimum, and sometimes you're going to get little wacky things if you just spent over $100 and made a ton of money, like GML web visitors, which makes you wonder, why not target them further? Maybe you should. And then here's another one you can mouse over, seafood and foodies. And then here was, 12 days of lobster. Now you'll see here, we'll show you what you've made and your ROI, and then also a quick idea of what to do with it, which in all these, it's spend more here if it's your top all time and it's a sky high ROI. You want to spend more and get more revenue rather than make all this sky high ROI when you could get even more actual dollars out if the ROIs are in the thousands of percent. It's too high. You should spend more. Any areas you are losing money that need monitoring will appear here. You can click on it and then see what the campaign is and how much money. In this case, a $98 loss. Nothing really to worry about here. Move on to the next. Now, here is potential missed opportunities. Now, there's some weird data in this account because it's been around for 6 years. So days since first opt-in, 1,870 days. Literally, there's been 6 years ago we had leads joining from this. However, the idea with this one, which can be very valuable, is we are using new lead attribution and then looking at anywhere you're not spending but the leads are buying. And so it may just mean, if it's a small amount, you're going to ignore it. But in some of these bigger ones, well, $4,500 for display remarketing, you've spent $0, but it still generated $4,500. And that's what happens when you have people-based tracking like we do. We'll track those leads. We'll hold on to that tracking forever. And if those campaigns deserve credit in the future, we'll give credit. This is going on behind the scenes in the ROI report as well. But we call it out here because if you're not spending and you're making money, often you want to turn it back on. Not always, but often. And so in this case, a 2015 campaign, not really going to turn that back on. But the idea of 6 for 6, which in this case is 6 lobster tails, get 6 free. Great idea. Those leads are still buying. 2015 it was run. They're still buying. So that's why we're so big on lead attribution, even for pure e-com shops, because getting that email, even if they're not ready to buy yet, you can see, it's almost like a interest payment on an investment. You just keep making money. Where did you find your best customers is the next section. That is using new lead attribution to see what's the best ROI you have. The bigger the circle, the more the revenue, and the farther to the right, the more the ROI. And here, prospecting conversions has made 2.4 million, taking an average of 6 days to buy. That's a good campaign. Let's look here. Good old Facebook 6 for 6. Remember in the other screen up here, they made $3,000 in the past 30 days. Well, overall, they made $278K. So that's a nice one because they only spent $16,000 to get there. I know that because I moused over and I can see the costs, source, and a bunch of other stats here. The last one, sales velocity, we also have that over in predictive behaviors, so you don't necessarily need to use that here, but it's always interesting to see when people don't buy right away, how long do they take to buy? Because that's going to tell you, give you an idea of how long you can wait to cut the cord on a campaign. Because if most of your sales are happening right away, well, you can run a campaign just based on last click. But a lot of times there's consideration, and so it's interesting to see the distribution of that. Because the longer people can take to buy, or the more it's spread out, the more you want to use for some campaigns, the top of the funnel attribution in the ROI report to help get you that edge on your competition, because you can see when leads don't buy right away, where are those initial clicks coming from that lead to future customers, and then spend more there when it may not look so rosy in the ad platforms. So that's how data mining works. It's it's something that you'll come to periodically, maybe every 2 weeks, just to see if there's anything new that's been mined, maybe once a month. It's for a periodic insights. Thanks.